After Les Parnas came out with these explosive claims yesterday, we simply can't afford to ignore them. Basically, irony is thriving in the 45 administration. Consider this: the squatter spent months and was ultimately impeached for badgering the Ukrainian government to announce a probe into the natural gas company Burisma. Yet all it took was the release of some text messages by Lev Parnas, an accused criminal with a checkered past for Ukraine, to quickly announce it is investigating alleged illegal surveillance of former U.S. Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch. The, sup- the supposed surveillance, which is described in documents that Parnas turned over to the House Intelligence Committee, is one of several explosive claims to emerge this week in the messages. Robert Hyde, who had contacts with the 45 family and is a Republican candidate for the U.S. House, described surveillance of Yovanovitch in Ukraine. She was abruptly fired in May of 2019 after a pressure campaign directed by dumbass Giuliani, 45's lawyer. Parnas, for the record, told Maddow on Wednesday that he believed Hyde was telling lies. Parnas turned over notes that again suggest a House testimony for Ambassador Gordon Sondland previously testified that 45 and Domas Giuliani were only interested in the announcement of a probe, not the fact of one. This both undermines 45's claim to have been trying to fight corruption in Ukraine and also indicates that the squatter's goal was hurting Joe Biden and enhancing his own re-election chance. Parnas also produced a May 2019 letter from Domas Giuliani to Ukrainian President-elect Zelensky requesting a meeting with 45. Domas Giuliani began the letter. I am private counsel to 45, just to be precise. I represent him as a private citizen, not as squatter of the United States. This is the latest evidence to debunk 45's claim to have been acting in an official capacity when he pressured Ukraine. In an interview with the New York Times, Parnas also explained how it was that Domas Giuliani came to represent him and his partner Igor Fruman. In Parnas' telling, he was worried about acting as a go-between for 45 without an official capacity to ensure their safety and access. Parnas first proposed that 45 would make the two men special envoys, but after speaking with 45, Domas Giuliani offered a new idea. He would represent Fruman and Parnas as well as the squatter, thus making them all subject to shared attorney-client privilege. The Parnas allegations go on and on. Parnas has said that 45 was kept appraised of his actions by Domas Giuliani, though Parnas said he did not communicate directly with the squatter about them. Although 45 has claimed not to know Parnas, there are many photos of them together floating around. So that debunks his claim. If true, this would also debunk any claim already implausible by 45 that he was unaware of Domas Giuliani's actions. As the Senate prepares to hold a trial for 45 with acquittal to a foregone conclusion, impeachment remains a strange duck. To anyone who has seriously considered the evidence, it's impossible to conclude that 45's behavior was appropriate, although it remains possible to conclude that impeachment removal is still excessive. That even though the House has finished impeaching 45 and despite the appalling facts uncovered, there is much that remains unknown about the squatter's actions with regard to Ukraine, thanks to both 45's obstruction and the haste of the Democratic House. This makes it possible to ignore Parnas' claims if true. They make the case against 45 that much more damning. They help to fill in some of the missing information. They underscore the squatter's abuse of power, and they come from someone with first-hand knowledge. And yet it's impossible to take Parnas at face value either. Parnas, you may recall, first became a household name in October when he was arrested with his associate Igor Fruman while attempting to leave the country and charged with violations of election-related laws. This is a man who started a company called Fraud Guarantee, reportedly so that he could bury Google results about his own previous shady actions. If he is telling the truth now, he was both involved in a dastardly and preposterous scheme and lied about it in the past. Some of Parnas' claims here deserve a particular scrutiny, especially those not backed by any documentary evidence. Though he claims 45 was aware of what was going on, he does not claim direct knowledge that this was the case. The fact that Parnas' account scores with others, including Sondland's, lends it some credibility. He also told Maddow that Attorney General Brett Barr was basically on the team, but offers no evidence for the allegation and no other evidence has emerged so far to support it. A Department of Justice statement called that claim 100% false, which more than likely it probably wasn't. The dilemma posed by Parnas' claim recalls the one created by Michael Cohen's testimony to the House last February. As Republicans eagerly noted on, Cohen was a convicted liar preparing to go to prison on tax fraud, campaign finance, and other charges. His testimony was self-interested. He both had reasons to exact personal revenge on 45 and hoped that his corporation might induce authorities to lighten his sentence. All of this was true, but Cohen, like Parnas, brought documents to back up his claims, and his testimony has largely been substantiated since. Parnas is like Cohen in another way. Each was once part of the 45 circle, and the squatter and his defenders now dismiss him as a liar and scoundrel. And as with Cohen, the defense is troubling even if true. If Cohen and Parnas are such obvious villains, how is it that they came to be close to the squatter, putatively working as part of his legal team? The same question applies to any other number of other criminals, con men, and charlatans we've come to know over the last 4 years as 45's associates. The fact that he is surrounded by such people says such a great deal about either his judgment or his probity. Probably be both. Hold on a second. The investigations into 45 have often had to rely on questionable witnesses like Parnas because other supposedly uncompromised people with direct knowledge have declined to speak. The 45 administration blocked testimony from acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, Secretary of State Dumbass Pompeo, and Energy Secretary Dumbass Perry, to name a few, and 45 has declined to speak under oath. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton has conducted a bizarre public striptease, facilitating between hints he will either testify or won't, while saving his stories for a book. On the eve of the impeachment trial, he was spotted strolling in one Qatar's capital city. In the absence of their testimony, the search for truth has had to depend on uncomfortable encounters with the likes of Lev Parnas. His claims can't be believed at anything near face value, yet they also cannot be dismissed out of hand, for the stakes are too high. As long as it's Parnas' story versus 45's, the question is which proven liar to trust. I would rather even though Parnas is a proven liar, I would rather believe him. I would believe him over the claims he just made over 45. I would not believe anything 45 says.